Hello friends, welcome back. Today we will be discussing about the new property that is linear gradient and radial gradient, and also we'll be discussing about the color codes used in CSS. So let us start. So we'll open the folder where we will be storing our file on my desktop, CSS tutorial, and I have created one folder linear gradient CSS. I'll open that folder to create our files. So inside that folder, create a new file and name that file as index.html. Second file you can create is style.css. Open that file to the side so that you can easily write the code in two files. Okay, inside the HTML code, create an HTML code, give a title to the HTML code. Now we all are familiar with this, so I'll name it as linear gradient. Okay, and to link css file, use the link tag with css and it will connect with you with your style.css file. Now create another division div class and give a name to this class as box1. Write your first css property, that is box1, and you can use the height of around 600 pixel for better visualization, and the background color as for example blue. And check your output, just right click on inside your HTML page and open with live server, and you can check your output onto the screen that it is showing you the output of the background color blue onto your screen. But again, if you observe that at the left hand side top and right there is a gap from the extreme corners of your screen, so you don't want that. So how to remove that? So simply you have to write star and margin as 0. Without pixel you can write only 0, and you can see that there is a no gap from left top and right corner of your division. Okay, now till now we were using all the colors in the basic colors for the designing, like blue, green, yellow and the solid colors. But there are different ways to use this color code. If you are using VS Code, it is very easy to change the color. Now you can click on this color and you will get a color palette and choose whatever color you want. Suppose I want this green, so you can select that green and a different pattern of the color, you can select it. But if you observe that here you are getting one function called RGB, round brackets and three values, that is red, blue and green. This three value means the three color combination of that color. So this is one way to represent the same color. If I click on this function, you will get another way, and this way is called the hex color code. So either you can write hash 1C681A, this is a hexadecimal number which will give you the same color palette if you start it with the hash. Again, if I click on that function, you will see there is another way to represent your same color with HSL function with three different values, that is hue, saturation, level. Then HWB, this is the another way to write your color. So instead of you using all the different functions, so most popular are RGB, that the combination of red, green, blue, or you can go for the hex color code. So whatever color you want, you just need to select it from the color palette and the type of which you want to use, that is hex code or RGB code. Now we have selected a background color as the hex code from our color palette, and we'll see the output, that color is appearing onto my screen. So these three ways you can write RGB, HSL and the hex code. Now let us talk about the function called linear gradient. So I don't want to use a simple plain background throughout my design. I want to create a gradient, that some color at the left hand side and some color towards the right hand side on the same division. So how will you do that? So instead of using background color, you have to use a simple property called only background, and the function name is linear hyphen gradient. And inside this linear hyphen gradient function, you have to pass two different colors. So for your understanding, I am using a solid color, that is red and green. Just save it and check your output. What will happen? you can see that there are two colors in the same division as a background. So the red color is at the top and the green color is at the bottom. It means that whatever the color you mention as the first color in the linear gradient, that is appearing at the top, and the green color is appearing at the bottom of your division. Now suppose I want to change this direction. I don't want red at the top. I want red at the left hand side and green at the right hand side. So how will you do that? It is a very simple. You have to add the third parameter at the beginning of this function here. You will write that parameter as a direction. So where you want to write, this is the direction which you are writing, to space right. It means that it will start red at the left hand side and towards right it will become the green. Now save this and just check your output. The left hand side it is red and at the right hand side it is showing you the green. Now suppose you want to create a beautiful palette, so instead of using solid colors you will obviously prefer the color code. So I'll use darker blue. For example, this blue I want at the left hand side, and as a second color towards right I want the blue but the lighter blue. So again I'll select my color palette blue and I'll use any of the lighter color of blue like this one. Suppose save this and check your output. You will find that at the left hand side it is darker blue and at the right hand side it is a lighter blue with the help of linear gradient. Again you can change the direction. Suppose you don't want it towards right, you want it towards left. So first color will appear at the right hand side and the second color will appear at the left hand side. So this way you can change the direction of the color to create a proper linear gradient onto your division as a background. Now, instead of linear gradient, sometimes you want to use a radial gradient. There is another function we can use. So, for the demonstration, I'll comment this and I'll write the another property, that is background, and the function name is radial gradient, radial hyphen gradient. Again, you can pass two color values. So, I'll use a red and green. And if you check the output you will find that the first color is appearing at the center and it becomes the second color, that is green, towards the outer side. So again if you want to create a radial gradient you can use the function radial gradient. Now again if you want to use the same color code which you have used earlier, just copy those color codes, two color codes, and paste it in the form of RGB or the hex code you can use. Save it and check your output. The darker blue is at the center and lighter blue at the right hand side. Now for your understanding, what if I provide the three different colors? So let's say a RGB function and I'll pass the third color. You can use any random value, let's say 212, 33 and 8. This red color I want to use as a third color in the radial gradient. So what will happen? You can see at the center it is darker blue, the second color in the middle is lighter blue, and outer color is red. Same color if you pass in the linear gradient. So what will happen? We'll just see by commenting the radial gradient and uncomment your linear gradient and pass your third color as the same which you have used here, and check that what will happen. So you are getting the linear gradient from left to right to left, because you have given a direction to left. So blue at the left, lighter blue at the center, and the red at the right hand side. So to create this gradient you should use one of the function here. So I'll remove this third color which is not looking good for my design, suppose. So you can create the linear gradient with the help of these two functions. So try this much. We'll see you in the next video.